Anti-war protesters were just removed from a Senate hearing after interrupting testimony from Secretary of State Antony Blinken, calling him a war criminal. Secretary Blinken is there to make the case for the president's $64 billion foreign affairs budget proposal. And this all comes amid a deep divide in the country over funding for Israel. ABC's Jay O'Brien joins me now on Capitol Hill for more. Jay, what just happened?
Yeah, Blinken was just less than a minute, frankly, Diane, into his remarks when the first protester interrupted him. That protester said that he was a quote-unquote butcher, and then other protesters sprung up and said, as you noted, they called him a war criminal. There were about 3 protesters, maybe 4 in total. The hearing seems to have calmed down since then. Again, these demonstrators have been removed. The chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Ben Cardin, made the point to apologize to Blinken about the interruptions, but also say that these demonstrate, as you just noted, the high temperature on this issue across the country. And then said inside this hearing this morning, not everyone is going to agree on different avenues of the administration's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. Certainly, there are progressive Democrats who think that the administration and Blinken and the president have let them down on this issue.
Now, Blinken is testifying before 2 Senate committees, the Foreign Relations Committee and then later today another subcommittee. Why 2 hearings? What are they focusing on?
So this is about the budget. It's something that you got to kind of kick into the fall. Every single cabinet secretary testifies about their budget. And Blinken's got 2 different ones. He's got the overall hearing to the entire Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and then a smaller hearing later on this afternoon to a subcommittee of that same Senate Foreign Relations Committee. As you said earlier, he's going to make the case for the budget, but you almost have to kind of put that aside and talk about the news environment in which these hearings occur. So another thing that Blinken is most notably going to be asked about is the administration's decision to pause the shipment of some 2,000-pound bombs to Israel over concerns that those massive bombs could be used in Israel's military operation in Rafah, that city in the south of Gaza that's home to more than 1 million refugees. There are certainly Republicans, particularly on that committee that's meeting later on in the day, Lindsey Graham chief among them, that are staunchly opposed to that decision. And you can expect Blinken to get some pointed questions on that decision made by the administration.
Jay, this also comes after a prosecutor at the International Criminal Court requested arrest warrants for the leader of Hamas and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over alleged war crimes. The Biden administration has rejected that move. So do you think we'll see Blinken talk about that at the hearings at all?
He actually already has just moments ago, and that was one point of universal agreement. The top Democrat on that committee, the top Republican on that committee, and Antony Blinken all together said in various ways they reject that arrest warrant and the accusations made by the ICC. They said it was a false equivalency, among other things, to compare Israel to the leader of Hamas, because there have been 2 arrest warrants requested, as Kara noted earlier, one for Yahya Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, and the other for Benjamin Netanyahu. Again, the U.S. has rejected those. It called them outrageous, the president has, and Blinken echoed what the president said. And Democrats and Republicans both agreeing with him, a rare point of bipartisan agreement.
And Jay, Blinken's also expected to testify before the House tomorrow. What can we expect from those hearings?
You can expect him to get some pointed questions in front of House Republicans. Remember, in the Senate, this committee is controlled by Democrats. In the House, the committee is controlled by Republicans. So particularly on that question of the pausing of those 2,000-pound bombs and possible threats of withholding other military assistance from the U.S. to Israel, something the administration has telegraphed they may or may not do depending upon this operation in Rafah. You can expect House Republicans to seize on that topic and give some pointed questions to the secretary.
Jay O'Brien on Capitol Hill. Jay, thank you.